reason I wanted to make this video is because happiness is a much discussed and highly desirable topic. Of course, everyone wants to feel and everyone wants to be happy, and a lot of people pursue happiness in many different ways, and the same goes for me. But I think that I have a different view about achieving and feeling happiness, one that doesn't really fit the narrative and isn't aligned with what many people are thinking. Because I think that there's just too much emphasis on the obligation to be happy. And I think that with a change of mindset, there's a way more constructive approach available. An approach that doesn't focus solely on feelings, but more on how actual happiness can be achieved in a constructive way that benefits more people and isn't selfish. So something positive and something inspiring for the whole world and for many different communities. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Tobias Philipp, and in this episode I want to talk about how searching for happiness can actually cause unhappiness. So my definition of modern day happiness is that intense and endless joy that children experience. And we pursue mostly things that provide quick joy, quick excitement, and just quick satisfaction. And it comes all from avoiding pain and only wanting to feel positive emotions. And we do everything we can just to not feel bad and just to not feel sad, chasing things that quickly give that feeling of joy, but it's only temporary. And why did I make that comparison with children? Because children experience an immediate and unfiltered joy. Because they are free from complex worries and free of societal pressures that we as adults face. They can feel and express emotions openly without masks or expectations adults might impose. And it's really not easy for adults to experience and carry out actual feelings. We have to deal with filters, we have to make considerations, and of course the fear of opinions from others, which I believe are what hindering us for true fulfillment. And people don't do what they want, but instead they do what's in line or what is expected by others. And I think that this leads people to take part in destructive and degenerate activities that provide that quick feeling. And I've done things in the past that didn't give me any actual satisfaction, just to hopefully experience the happiness that is pushed onto us. I've been there myself, doing things that only gave me temporary joy, but never really any long-term fulfillment. And I think that it's chased because negative emotions are stigmatized. There's pressure to always present a happy appearance, and feeling bad, feeling stressed or frustrated is just frowned upon and is seen as undesirable. And we try to do everything we can to avoid and not experience negativity, but I just don't think that it's realistic, because trauma and negative events happen on a day-to-day basis, and you can't just be happy all of the time. And I think that the obligation to strive for happiness leads to disappointment when it's not achieved. And it always comes back to the influence of surroundings, especially in the West, where there's massive comparison and there's massive competition. And we say we don't care, but do we really not care? When everyone says, as long as you're happy, or I just try to be happy, you will automatically think it's really only about being happy. So when someone shows how good they have it, someone else might think that they failed, because they start to think they are not as happy as they should be, because it seems like others are. And this just sets unrealistic expectations that cannot be met. And if you're not careful, then you'll find yourself in a situation that might not fit you, and you end up pursuing things to achieve what someone else has sold you on. And I think that is the job of a role model, but I think that there are too many bad ones, and following degenerate and destructive ones leads you to do the same thing. If the ones you follow only promote and address happiness, it will always be on your mind, making you think about it constantly. And focusing solely on happiness, I think, overshadows other important values, and it can even lead to other issues with maybe your health, or maybe even with your mental well-being. And if you're not pursuing or striving for something, I think that makes life really mundane, and starting something meaningful and going through the struggle required and achieving something truly worth it, that is, in my experience, what really brings fulfillment, and that is what automatically then leads to happiness. And you can either go through the pain of discipline, or you have to deal with the pain of regret. And not feeling happy, that might even mean that you're just weighing on the wrong scale, because there are lots of things to be happy about. And instead of saying I have to, instead of saying I have to go to my job, I have to clean my house, you can also say I get to. I get to clean my house. There are people who don't even have a house. I can get to my job. There are also people who don't even have a job. And I think that in many cases we're already privileged compared to many other people. And once I changed my mindset and I chose 100% for myself, I really experienced something that I've never had before. And I live a life that many probably won't understand, because I don't like many things that people do like. I have no need for vacations. I don't watch any series. I don't even have a television. I barely watch sports. I don't go out, or not even going out for dinner. Just to give some examples. And there's nothing wrong if you do enjoy it, but it's just not for me. And I consciously don't do it. What I do enjoy is pursuing and achieving something, whether it's in sports like training for an Ironman, or even making these videos, just trying to build something for myself. I just like to sit down and work on something that moves me forward. And soon, currently I live in the Netherlands, but soon I will move to Germany. And logically, people tell me that it's daunting. But I focus only on the things that I can control. And that's why I almost feel no fear or no anxiety. I just go on with what I'm doing currently and what's in my control. So my training, my work, and just trying to build something for myself. I just put all my time and effort into it, and I'm not depending on outside forces. And that's why it's really easy for me to bring my satisfaction and my happiness just with me, without having to feel or to be worried. So what I want to convey here is that you don't have to do what others say you have to do to be happy. And focusing on happiness itself will always lead to disappointment, in my opinion, or at least in many cases. And happiness isn't something that's always there or can always be achieved. And if you not focus on happiness itself, but focus on the actions that lead to it, that will bring you happiness in the end. And you have to decide for yourself what happiness means to you, and only strive for that definition. And that's at least how I look at it. Let me know how you think about it in the comments. Also share this episode with others who you think may find it useful. Would be very much appreciated, and thank you very much for listening.